Good afternoon. One large crab bisque to go. Red. Beautiful.
You're pushing your luck, little man.
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey there. One mulligatawny and, what is that right there? Is that lima bean?
Yes.
Never been a big fan. You know what? Has anyone ever told you look exactly like Al Pacino? You know, Scent of a Woman? Hoo-ah! Hoo-ah!
Very good. Very good. You know something? No soup for you! Come back 1 year! Next!
Welcome to the Rhythm Section Podcast, presented to you by SRP Studios, a digital content production agency. Thank you for being here, everybody. This podcast is here to spotlight the greater Memphis and North Mississippi music community.
Video episodes published every Monday on YouTube and Facebook at 6 p.m. Central. All the audio publishes on Monday mornings on all the major podcast platforms. Check us out at therhythmsectionpod.com for all the information you need.
We've got merch, everybody. Hats, shirts, mugs, and tumblers. Our retail location is at Boba Cream, 131 West Commerce Street in Hernando, Mississippi. Go to msbobacream.com for more details. Also, the Rhythm Section Podcast is looking to partner with businesses that want to support this platform through sponsorships and advertising. Your business will get exposure and brand awareness with an average monthly reach of 70,000. But the best part is your support will help this podcast brighten the spotlight that hangs over this wonderful music community. For more information, click the sponsor form link in the description or go to therhythmsectionpod.com and click the sponsor tab.
That's it.
Mr. Ward.
What's up, Mr. Michaud?
Good, man. Good. We got the memo. We're wearing the same shirt.
Well, actually, there was no memo. It just happened.
I know. The reason is, I think, also because we might dip into this a little bit. We're going to Neil's to see some good stuff later today.
Yeah,
as we record this.
Wanted to wear the brand.
That's right.
You know,
we're going to sport it, baby.
Yep.
As we are recording this on Sunday, June 25th. Today's guests, plural, Matt Montgomery and David Cowell.
Yeah,
from Supernova Sound Memphis. Man, that was a fun one. It was awesome. A lot of good information in there, which we'll get into. But, to start here, as we should do more and more and more, we want to acknowledge our audience. You know, we really appreciate you doing what you do for us. And as we said in the intro and last episode, we went really deep into the sponsorship thing.
Yeah.
Now you heard it in the scripted intro. And always sharing is caring. If you know of anyone interested, please let us know.
Yep.
Watch party, right, Jeff?
Yes. We're going to do that on Monday, July the 10th, 7 to 9 at Sidecar Memphis. We've had 2 great turnouts, and we're looking for a third. So please come out and support that and check it out.
They were both dynamically different.
Yep.
Is that redundant?
Maybe.
Dynamically different. Unique.
Yeah.
All 3. The first one, everyone's stopped talking. Everyone hung out, ate, and for the interview.
Yeah.
They didn't give a shit about us.
And they shouldn't.
But then the next one was more lax. It was smaller.
Yeah,
but it was more lax, and it was like a meet and greet, and it was a hang, and it was a lot of fun. And so we're hoping to, have fun again here on July 10th. So.
We did see some faces at both. I mean, there were some people that came to both, and that's awesome.
Some that didn't go to the first came to the second.
Absolutely.
Right. Mr. Peterson was one of them.
Yeah.
So great. So check it out, everybody. To kind of dip back into the sponsor thing, and I wanted to mention this last week, but I want to acknowledge the fact that, you know what? We've had a sponsor.
Yeah. We have.
And I want to acknowledge Boba Cream
Yeah.
and spotlight them a little more. Ryan Dern, I know you're listening.
Yeah.
Want to thank you, Darlene, your wife, and your business for sponsoring us technically months ago.
Yeah.
Sponsoring doesn't necessarily mean monetary gain.
Absolutely.
This is like a barter sponsor.
Sure.
Sponsor in kind
Right.
is the term I've learned since being in the chamber.
Yeah.
So if anyone doesn't know, as you've heard us do it in the intro forever, but part of the deal is he's given us space of his floor to let us put up shelves and put our merch in there.
Yep.
And in trade is we give him that commercial.
Absolutely.
And he from early on was willing to put his name on this. So, and I love First because you can't change it.
Right.
He's our first sponsor. So again, just, shout out to Ryan and Darlene Durin and Boba Cream for the sport. And we appreciate you.
And Ryan, as soon as you get your liquor license, I'm going to move in. And we're going to put rum in everything you sell.
That would be the next step.
Yeah. So
delicious iced coffee.
Yeah.
So, and another correction, and let me just go ahead and do this right now.
Great Scott!
Yeah.
As you heard the last episode, I said that the next week we'd be talking about the Stage Stop reunion tribute show at Neil's.
Yeah.
And didn't realize that, as now we're recording the intro for that next week. It's the morning of, so we haven't been there.
Yeah.
So we're still going to talk about it, but we're going.
It's
aren't we?
about to happen. And then next week, we'll tell you what happened.
That's right. And it's going to be awesome. Obviously, I didn't prepare because we can't promote it because of the, timeline.
Great Scott!
But can we think of the bands that are going to be there?
Thrust, Roxy Blue, Every Mother's Nightmare, Lord Tracy, and this is not in any particular order.
Right. What's the
man.
one with Jimmy? The
Play Rough.
Play Rough.
And then there's one with Scott Sudbury and
Wayne Walker.
Yeah, shit.
I know. I threw that out there.
Sorry, Scott. I can't think of the name of the band. My bad.
We promise that when we do the recap,
We will mention
have
everyone.
all of that.
Yeah.
There was an awesome picture out there with the band that has Scott and
Right.
Wayne in it, them being young and, Scott wearing, classic old black, thick leather jacket.
Oh, yeah.
It was really cool.
Yep.
So we're going to have so much fun with that.
I'm
but
searching right now so that we don't leave them out. I'll find it before we're done.
I don't know how to filibuster.
I'm telling you, we're bad at this. So.
We actually did go out this weekend.
Yes.
Went to see our friends Area 51 again. We don't want to bore people with, if we see the same band over and over, but they are good friends of ours.
The hand-me-downs.
The hand-me-downs.
There they are.
With Wayne and Scott.
Yep.
But we went out to Dan McGinnis and just hung out with our friends, and Jimmy and I have become good buddies.
Oh, man.
And then his wife, Donna, and my mom are thick as thieves.
Oh, yeah.
So that's interesting, unique, different, dynamic situation. But we had a good time. It was a lot of fun. And they
great show. They sounded amazing as always.
Yeah. Well, we don't have much more to talk about. Let's as far as catching up and recapping things. So let's get right now to the guest.
Okay.
So Matt Montgomery and David Cowell.
Yes.
I got to know them through this, obviously, but really it was like the Fever Tree guys invited us to the studio when they were working on their last single. I met Matt Montgomery for the first time, I think, at the show at Minglewood.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one thing that we talk about.
Yep.
And we went to see Tora Tora and Fever Tree opened. And as soon as Fever Tree ended, I think within like a measure, boom,
Power out. Yep.
And Matt Montgomery saved the day.
He did.
By powering a small little PA. So
in his Ford truck, and Ford, you're welcome to reach out to us and give us any amount of money you'd like for plugging you in this thing.
That's right. We'll save it for the story here, but he was able to supply a generator with his vehicle, and save the day. So that was fun. Of course, Sleep Theory comes up.
Yeah, man,
it's a big deal.
Those guys have just taken off like gangbusters. It's incredible what that first single has done for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so we talk about that, and we talk about other artists that they've worked with. Every Mother's Nightmare, Bruce Key. There's lots of that going on, and we talk about Matt's insane guitar collection and amp collection and head collection.
His studio is storage for his guitars and a recording studio.
And from what we hear, he's got at least that many more at home.
Oh, I know.
So it's the guy, I don't know who he's married to, but she's very, very accommodating.
She probably just gave up a long time ago. Yeah. There's no fighting this.
Right.
He's also very well known for custom pedals.
Right.
And I just went off camera here because I still over there have the one he made for me, which is amazing. I'm going to put it up to the camera. Yeah. Look at that. It's got the our logo engraved in there. It's awesome. My name on the back. It's what he told me was like an envelope deal for the bass. So he makes these for everyone. And lately he's been with Tesla.
He's everywhere. Frank Hannon of Tesla. I believe he may have said Nuno Betancourt from Extreme. Just lots of, John Roth and a lot of local people too. Jeff Cobble and just people everywhere that he's making these things for. And now Derek Michaud.
That's right.
So it's awesome.
Let me just, so while we're mentioning his generosity to that, he made you some stuff too, sir. What did he give you?
I got engraved drumsticks. It's very cool. Tumblers, keychains, dog tags like for necklaces for the show. It's just amazing. He just did so much for us, and I will eventually have a pedal. I'm gonna reach out to him and order one, and I'm fine with paying for it. And I don't even play guitar. I just want one because they look amazing.
It'd be funny if he just didn't have any wiring in it.
Yeah.
It's just the case,
and that's really all I need. That's a good idea. Actually, just give me a case, engrave everything, make it look good because I'm not ever going to plug into it.
And we talk about the Monsters of Rock cruise that he was on, and he was awesome. He wore our shirt out there and saw some pictures and with him wearing the shirt. That was awesome. So before we move into the interview, you go to Supernova Sound Memphis.com. Check it out. I mean, the list of artists they've worked with in there is very long.
It is,
But of course, we go deeper into Sleep Theory because of that relationship with David. I didn't know. I mean, David was with him from he's part of the beginning.
Right.
I didn't know that. So he's very proud and happy about it, and it's we're all happy for him too. Yeah. And of course, all these links are in the description. So. Go check it out. But what do you think? What do you say, Jeff? That's probably our shortest intro in a while.
Is. That's okay.
No, it's good.
Let's get to these guys and let everybody hear their story.
I'm sure everyone's like, finally.
Go away.
Yeah. Well, as always, y'all, please, share those posts.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Tell people about the Facebook page. That thing, every time I say something, it grows 30 or 40 people following us, and then it kind of stagnates for a while. So I'm making another call to action, man. Get these people out there to like the page and follow us.
The rhythmsectionpod.com, too. We're really pushing that. Check it out. You can find everything there. Our social links, our archive of our episodes, they're all in there.
And it may not be there yet as you are listening to this, but there is going to be a page for photographs that we take of bands and us with people that will be on there in the very near future.
The first step is remembering to take these photos. Hence, let's both your camera and my camera. All right.
We always forget to do this. So
take a picture. So we always want to take a picture with our guests, and then post it and give us content. And we never remember, so we each have a post-it note, and we're going to leave them right in front of us, and hopefully not forget this one. So, because we got a big day today. I know these episodes will come out later, but we got Rocco Walls in today from Fever Tree, and then we got Kevin and Bethany Page. So it's going to be a fun day. And then the stage stop deal.
That's it.
Woo, it's all business today.
We saw you guys there.
That's right. All right, Al. As always, thank you, and enjoy our interview with Matt Montgomery and David Cowell. Awesome. This is a great day right here. We got the crew of Supernova. We got Matt Montgomery, David Cowell. Thank you for being here, y'all.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's been exciting and anxious to get you in here. You guys have been in the calendar for a minute.
For a while, man.
Yeah. So, in between all of the sleep theory stuff, you finally found a minute to hang out with us. David.
Yeah. It's been a lot.
That's cool.
But yeah, we wanted to. I saw that. I think the first one I saw was Alan Bone, and I don't know. I've got the attention span of a gnat, like when I'm not in the studio. But
have you heard our sounds?
But but this was one of those things where, like, I ended up watching the entire deal and hit him up shortly after and asked if he's like, oh yeah, I know. And so, we've definitely been excited about getting on here and hanging out with you guys and doing this. It's really cool.
Alan Bone broke the studio in. He wasn't the first released, but he was the first recorded.
Yeah.
And he started it all.
Well, we've had the pleasure of coming and hanging out at your place, and that was a lot of fun.
I think it was clean that day. I hope so. Anyway.
There was a few guitars hanging up.
A couple.
Just a few.
A few cabinets, a few heads. One drum set. What kind of slack-ass shit is that?
For context, for people that don't know, you guys own a recording studio, and then there's a big room that's just walls of guitars, and then a corner where you put a drum set to record.
Yeah,
it's the drum track room, but really it's like a guitar center in there.
Yeah, if you go into this place to record and you can't find a guitar that works for you, seek help.
Yeah.
So awesome. Look, did a little research on your website, which is really nice, by the way. Good website. This all started in 2019.
Wow.
And you, Matt, before leading into the studio, you had a backline company?
Right.
What was that about? Tell me about that.
Just I've just got too much gear, way too much gear. So I wanted to do something with it. And so I just started doing backline. I just said, I got it. I might as well use it.
Yeah.
And so I started doing backline and did pretty well with it. And just got to the point, I don't like moving that heavy stuff.
How many different bands or how many different venues could you back up
At one time?
Yeah.
All of them.
Jesus.
Great answer.
Good answer.
Well, that's awesome. Anyone, again, context. Backline is when bands will roll up to like a festival style, situation, and there's the same drum kit. Bass players plugging into the same amp. Guitar players are usually picky, right? They usually bring their own.
Yeah. Well, they usually give me a rider with what they want on it,
Yeah.
and I'll just bring whatever they want.
So back when I was still like playing and touring and stuff, the national band I played with, we did a bunch of fly out dates where like we would be on tour and then there'd be this big thing. Like, let's say that, for instance, we just played Juanita's in Little Rock, and then the bus rolled us through to Memphis. We get on the airplane, got up to Philly, did this like rock the boat thing for the radio station up there. And it was cool because, whoever the contact was like, all right, what amp do you use? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so in that scenario, we got up there and our exact setup, everything that we had, even down to the pedal board.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And so we just brought our guitars on the plane, and then that's in essence like what he was providing for everybody.
So for my next gig, can I get 2 8-10-inch cabs
I can make it happen.
and a vintage 100-watt SVT?
I got both of those.
Just a wall of sound.
I would imagine that local guitar god, John Roth, probably does that. He's traveling with Winger and with Starship. He probably
He
calls
uses,
ahead and tells him what he wants.
DSL amps, Marshall DSLs, and they're great amps. They sound great, and they're a dime a dozen. You can find them anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's kind of his go-to thing.
That's cool.
So what sparked the studio? What made you make that shift?
Well, actually, me and Dave went to lunch one day with my wife. I think we were at Rock and Roll Sushi, and she made a comment. She goes, "Y'all should just start a studio or something like that." And
keep that woman forever.
we kind of
you guys should like start a business and have fun in your life.
Hey, we ain't thought about that.
Sweet.
So that's right, because you started this together in a way. Like, we're certainly going to break into business dealings here, but what were you two doing together before the studio?
So we were just friends. He got me a job. Like, I ran a studio back starting in 2009, tried like hell until about 2014, early 2014. The people that owned it, they wanted to go a different direction. Their son that they were starting all of this initially for wanted to get into video. So totally different world. They're like, whatever, we're going to get rid of the space, sell all the gear, get cameras. And then it was like, I guess I got to figure out.
And that was the Memphis area?
Yes. Yeah. And so Matt and I had met at that point. You know, we've got 1,000 mutual friends, and I'm sure y'all are figuring it out. It's like Memphis is the biggest small town ever. It's like,
we're figuring it out.
Right. So everybody by even just a couple degrees knows each other. Yep. So we had met a few times and hung out, and then he posted something on Facebook, like literally the day that I was like, whatever, can't put this off, gotta find a job. He said that the dealership he was working at needed a guy to come on. I messaged him. I said, was it pay? And then I said, scratch that. I don't care. I just want to show up and work. Like, I need something steady. And he's like, come on. So he got me hired on. And just as a result, every day, like, we quickly realized we were musicians at heart that couldn't stand that part of the world. And so we would go and get lunch and hang out and, you know, like talk all the time about, well, what do you think about this guitar? And we were just gear nerds. That's like where we really connected, was guitar amps, guitar sounds, pickups, pedals, stuff like that. So down the road, his buddy Lance McDaniel, they were with Shotgun Billies, which you guys know those dudes. They were ready to do another record. Went in without naming names. They went into a scenario where they paid a bunch of money and weren't necessarily getting what they wanted out of it. They call Matt. Matt calls me. Matt's like, hey, he says, you know, can you run down to that studio and see if you can fix this? And, you know, I walk in, take a look, quickly realize that the people running the show were more concerned with getting home in time to catch Melrose than actually getting a really good recording.
That was a really good show, man. I used to love it.
So we do our thing, and I pull the guys outside, and I'm just like, hey, see if you can get the music that you've recorded on a hard drive. We'll take it over to my place and then try to fix it. So in the process of all that, you know, Matt's coming over to my spot. He's seeing what we do, and he's just kind of laughing. He's like, dude, like, I knew you did this. I didn't know you did it like this. And so we kind of joked back, and this was 2017?
Yeah.
We kind of joked at that time, like, hey, man, this would be kind of cool to do. Well, then, you know, we finished that recording, salvaged what we could from what they had done before, re-recorded a bunch of stuff, mixed it, got it out. Sounds great. I still love a lot of the songs on that album.
One of my favorite albums.
Absolutely. And so fast forward a few more years later, in 2019, he's like, hey, the guys are ready to do something new, but they want to start it from scratch with you. And so let's figure out what that looks like. So at this point, I'm just doing everything out of my house. And one little bedroom where I've got enough gear to do bedroom recordings that sounded decent, but like, you know, this is a band. They need a big sound. I want to get them in a big room. So we shopped around and got a really good rate out of American Studios. So we booked a few days, got them in there, recorded a ton of the instruments and so on and so forth. Still ended up feeling like there wasn't going to be enough time to get it done right, like we needed, with the amount of time that they could afford to have paid there. If we had been able to get like an entire week and a half, whatever, which, you know, this isn't a reflection on the studio, it's just what we could figure out. Long story short, you know, it was a similar situation. And then he shows up one of those afternoons when they're recording, and he got, like, I could see his gears turning. He's like, dude, we need to do this. Like, why are we not doing this?
Sure.
And of course, I'm terrified at the thought. I'm like, I've just got into something that felt halfway stable at the dealership. You know what I mean? And doing this on the side is fun, and I'm not really trying to break that up. And then it became like a daily thing where he's just like, hey, dude, when are we doing this?
Don't deny Matt.
Let's
roll him out.
Let's go look for spaces. Hey, I found a spot. Go on lunch and go check this out. Would this work? Will that work? And I'm just like, you know, dude, I don't know. I was scared to death.
He was freaking out.
And then finally he hit me with this. He says, like, dude, there's always going to be a million reasons not to do something, but what if it went right?
Amen to that. That's why I'm doing this.
Yeah,
exactly.
This room we're sitting in. You know, it's terrifying.
What I want to know, Matt, is do you have any room on your friendship roster? Like, you got any openings?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, you're already on there. So.
All right.
He hits me up one day. Now, keep in mind, May of 19 was when we were at that other studio doing all this stuff, right? So I guess it was late June. He sent me a link I'm literally at work and he's at work, but he was a manager. I was a, lot guy basically at this point.
Minion.
Moving cars around. So he sends me a link while I'm out there moving cars around and he's like, what do you think about this? And I look at and I'm just like, what? He goes, go on lunch, check this out. The guy's going to meet you there that owns it. He'll let you in, take a look, see if we can do this. And I'm still thinking like, dude, I'm not sure I want to do this, but I'm like, all right, whatever, let's go. So I walk in and I've got, imagination goggles on. And I'm like, well, this could be a control room. Like basically what you guys came in and saw, that's what I was visioning when we walked in there. But then there's all this stuff that has to get built and so on. But semantics.
All the hooks for the guitars.
Yeah.
So we're going to figure all that out.
We got to find
The
space
wall
for a
mounts.
couple of more drum kits.
But yeah, so I call him back and I said, dude, it's not the most massive space in the world, but dude, I mean, I'm doing stuff out of a bedroom, so this is bigger than that,
No,
and
it
we
works.
could actually record real drums here and do everything we need. I think this could work out if the guy's cool with us doing some building, which he was. The guy
a lot
was,
of these lease places are cool with building out. They
man.
understand.
Let us knock the ceiling out
Yeah.
and do dude, it was crazy. I did not expect him to be as cool as he was with us doing half of it. Was great. So, I guess July, we're coming up on 4 years, man. July of 19, we went in. I remember I went for July 4th to Horseshoe Lake with some friends and we kind of had the final yep, we'll come back. Let's go ahead and sign that lease and get started. So, that's been the deal. He helped me get over being a scaredy cat of the whole thing and kind of took the plunge with
that's
me.
That's a legit, it's a legit fear. I mean, I've had my own business and it's scary as hell.
But make no mistake, if it wasn't for him believing in me and pushing me like that, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about this. I'd still be doing it out of a bedroom, working at a car lot. So,
So what was it like for you, Matt, going into this?
Man,
sounds like you just threw caution to the wind and said, let's do this.
I tend to do that a lot.
Yeah.
I see the end result that I want and I figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I did. I just I believe in Dave. I've seen what he can do. I know what he can do.
I've heard what he's done and it's fantastic.
And I know there's some great producers in Memphis and I'm not taking anything away from him, but I think Dave's the best. And I saw if I'm going to do this, I want to do it with him.
Sure.
Plus, he's one of my best friends. He's one of my best friends. So, I mean, I believe in the guy.
That helps
That's
too,
great,
that
man.
you guys have a good relationship. That's great.
So,
Well, while we've got a second, I want to promote the studio. We said at the beginning, it's Supernova Sound. It's pretty much appointment only. These guys stay booked up for a reason. They're extremely busy.
Currently through 2025.
Yeah. So
Nice.
you got a call to get a slot. You can call 901-351-3693 or you can email Matt at matt331@yahoo.com. So definitely, I mean, if you want to work with some of the best in the business, give these guys a call. You won't regret it.
And Supernova Sound Memphis.com, you can see some great pictures, but also the longest list of artists. I mean, I got a few that I just listed: Sleep Theory, Fever Tree, Shotgun Billies, Every Mother's Nightmare, Dirt Brothers, Bruce Key, Adam McClelland. I haven't talked to him in forever.
We know those guys, yeah.
But it just goes on and on and on. So that's a lot of work in 4 years.
And the story that you were just telling, what band was that?
That was Shotgun Billies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you said it, but it went in one ear.
Yeah, we had Lance in here just a few weeks ago. By now, by the time this airs, this is aired.
Cool.
But it was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Lance is cool.
Yeah. Incredible songwriter, player, singer. He's awesome, man.
Right.
Yeah.
one of my favorite guitar players ever.
He's hard to beat.
Zach Wild, Eric Clapton, whoever you want. I'll put Lance up there with him.
Really?
Man, that's saying something.
I agree. No, I completely agree with that.
That's awesome.
So how many guitars do you have, Matt? I've just been dying to ask this.
Because from my understanding, what we saw in the studio is not everything.
Oh, no, that's a little bit.
Okay.
That was a couple hundred, I'd say.
I would venture to say that what is at the studio is the B list. Like the A team is at his house, and I have to limit.
You'd have to come there.
I have a hard limit because I have a heart condition of how many times a month I'm allowed to go and see it because you're going to fall out.
So
like,
impactful.
I get it.
No, it's ridiculous. Like
Dave tells me if I bring another guitar in the studio, he's going to kick me out.
there are boutique shops that don't have anything close to the number of incredible pieces that are sitting in Matt's
All right.
house.
Well, my
It's just
next
nuts.
stop is Matt's house to get to see this.
There is a
collection.
drum kit there,
Oh, yeah? Cool.
just so you know.
And I mean, we can talk about your pedals that you make. I mean, You make custom pedals for some pretty heavy hitters.
Including, that's me.
He's not a heavy hitter. This is not a heavy hitter, but it's a great pedal.
He is absolutely a heavy hitter.
Look at that. It's a cool bass
That's-
pedal that I have not been able to plug in yet. Look at that.
And
it
we
was such a- it was such a
have
cool
been
thing.
so appreciative of you doing that, man. That's amazing. But you make stuff for people like Frank Hannon from Tesla, John Roth from Starship and Winger. I'm sure the list is much longer than I know.
There's quite a few.
So that's awesome.
I can't remember them all now.
Yeah.
Of course, I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. So.
Well, for the listeners, I forgot not everyone is watching. Matt, you do make these awesome custom pedals, effects for bass and guitar. And you were nice enough to make me one with the rhythm section logo right on top. My name in the back. It's really sweet. And then you helped hook Jeff up with drumsticks. My daughter loves the dog tag.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I showed her the pictures, like black one.
And as soon as Derek learns how to play bass, he's going to use that pedal.
Well, you notice the button says not suck. Not suck button. But yeah, so talk a little bit about that. You know, is that something that you were doing pre-studio or just been a hobby?
How the hell do you learn to do something like that?
Man, YouTube now, but no, I took electronics in high school.
Okay.
Because it's funny, I want to date myself a little bit, but they said, the future is repairing TVs and VCRs. So I took Votech electronics and learned a little bit, enough to be dangerous and how to make things make noise. And I did a lot back then because I couldn't afford anything. I couldn't buy no pedals. So I just built whatever I wanted or modified broke ones and, kind of did that for a little while. And really, I just got away from it for many years. And then when we started doing the studio, I'm like, Dave's like, man, this sound, I need this sound or something like that. So I'm like, I can build a pedal. So I modified a few here and there, but I just started doing it and haven't stopped.
How did it break out to all these national artists? How did they catch on?
Man, luck / knowing if the right people. Zach Myers helped.
That's awesome.
He got me hooked up gave a pedal to Joe Bonamassa.
Nice.
Zach is coming in for an interview. Zach, we're holding you to that.
He said he would.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to that.
So I built about 8, I think, for Zach, probably.
That's cool.
And he liked them. And then John Roth did a few for John. And then...
And really all it takes is one or two guys.
Snowball.
So now the Winger guys are seeing it. What's that?
Yeah. I just made one for Red Beach. Gave it to him on the boat.
Awesome.
And George Lynch and Michael
Derek
Shankner.
Michaud. I mean, it's just like,
the list goes on.
I mean,
doing 2 right now. I stayed up late last night doing pedals for Tesla. So I'm taking that to him Saturday.
There's only one name in that entire list that nobody knows. Yours. They know who these other people are.
we gotta.
Nobody said, who's George Lynch? They said, who the hell is Derek Michaud?
Well, that's outstanding. That's really cool. And then I didn't realize it was more recent than that. Just a few years now you've been doing the pedals.
Yeah, probably 3 or 4 years.
Well, I think one thing that is worth mentioning is all the wiring in the studio, Matt did.
Yeah.
And I'll be completely honest, I had zero clue prior to that day that he had any, we're having the discussion, we got to go this wired up. I'm thinking we're bringing somebody in, something like that. Matt walks in with a soldering iron and starts, and I'm like,
that's not light duty stuff there. That's a big
deal. And full disclosure, I'm thinking is this a good idea?
Is this going to catch fire?
Yeah,
work.
Do you know? And he's just like, oh man, I got this. And sure enough, as soon as my heart's going crazy, I'm sitting here like, oh God. He's taking the first mic, input into one of the walls and then wiring it into the rig. We get it done. It's executed. He's like, all right, plug it in, see if we got signal. And sure enough, no, it worked. Although he's had a lot of fun making me think that that's happening.
A mushroom cloud.
You've seen these videos where someone pretends they're getting electrocuted.
This dude right here.
And giving the other person a heart attack.
All the time.
Way too many times.
That's scary.
but no, I was incredibly impressed with that. It took us a day, and I say us, I mean it was me in the control room testing the connections, but he wired everything, and I was just like, dude, when the hell did you learn how to do this? And he's like, oh, and he kind of gave me what he just told y'all about that. I'm like, how have we been friends this whole time? I've never known that. And so then one day he comes in with a pedal. It's an overdrive pedal, and he's just like, what do you think about this? And we plug it in and tried it out, and I plugged in a couple others and compared it, and honestly loved it, like more than anything else. It was that Nova Drive.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, for like a year and a half, there wasn't a heavy guitar track that got recorded that didn't have that thing in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started messing with more of them and more designs. And then the Klondike, which is like the big one now. I feel like that's really taken off for him.
That's the name I've heard over and over.
And he's
Klondike.
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 And
Klondike.
yeah.
Klondike's an ice cream bar.
It looks like the Klondike bar.
And so like that's that's been a whole thing. But he's put together some microphones even and stuff like that and brought it in, and it's been really, again, surprising and just cool as hell that it's like, damn, he can do that, because God knows I can. I can plug them in and use them. I know how to get good sounds and stuff, but don't ask me to fix or build anything, because it's just not going to happen. So
And to be able to customize a certain sound that you're wanting is pretty awesome.
so cool. That's just cool. Like I've had artists in there, like Paolo from Sleep Theory. There was a song we were getting ready to record, and we wanted kind of like the baseballs effect, like the touch filter kind of. I just asked him like, "Hey man, you think you could put something like that together?" And he's like, "Huh." And then like 2 days later, he comes walking in, and it sounds better than the baseball's pedal. So
Well, I saw a video that you posted up on Facebook of a new pedal that he had just made, and you were demoing it for everybody, and you were like, okay, this will be on every recording I do for the foreseeable future.
oh, the noisemaker thing. Yeah.
It was so cool.
Yeah, that thing's a trip.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, along with that theme is Matt saving the day, right? Or coming in like a wizard, like Batman, and just coming out of nowhere. Well, we need to segue to Minglewood Hall,
Sure.
Yes,
for
we do.
Tora Tora's
Oh, yeah.
show, and we definitely talked about it soon after it all happened. But let's give some context. So Tora Tora was playing Minglewood.
Mhm.
Our friends Fever Tree were opening.
Yeah.
And Fever Tree ends literally within seconds of the last note. Power drops, and
Right.
the whole block
Thunderstorm comes through, knocks everything out.
out.
And
So-
this is a big show. It's a big deal. A lot of people from out of town coming to see Tora Tora. They are a longtime national act, big deal, and they didn't want to let them down.
Yeah, so the lights pop on for 1 second, and then they go out again.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's 500 people are booing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then we find out that the word is around, like, Matt is got a generator in his truck. He's pulling up, and next thing I know, you're pulling wires from your truck all the way through the back of the hall and into the stage, and you set up a little digital mixer and powered speakers, and it was
Anthony Quarters,
Anthony, yeah.
he's running around like getting ready to do some stuff for these people. And the other three members of the band are all back here in a chair just twiddling their thumbs, because it's going to be an acoustic show at this point with Anthony doing his thing, and the other guys are just hanging at this point. So,
well, the stereotype of the 80s bands having those roadies that they're just through and through. I mean, they're just figuring this shit out, and there you are. Oh, I got a generator built in my truck. Hey, I didn't know that existed.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, the way you just fired that all up, it was really cool.
Yeah.
You literally saved the night.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. Fever Tree gets done.
Yeah.
I'm going out there setting up Keith's pedal board, turning the amps on. First, I set up the pedal board, I turn around and turn the amp on. There's no light. I'm like, oh man, amp's out. And I'm thinking, why don't they turn the stage lights on so I can see what I'm doing?
Right.
And so the next amp is off. I'm like, wait a minute, we don't have power.
When the lights, for me, my perspective, the lights dropped, and I thought it was because it was the end of the show.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
That's what I thought.
they never came back on. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
We sat there and talked for a few minutes backstage. Everybody was talking, and Anthony's like, man, if the power don't come on, I'm just going to go out there and play acoustic right there, right out there. And so he goes out there to address the crowd and tell them, hey, man, we're waiting a little bit to see what happens. And nobody could hear him. And I'm like, there's no way he's going to be able to play this.
Yeah.
And then it clicked. I'm like, I got a generator. So I went to Corey, and I said, hey, man, I got a crazy idea, but you're going to have to follow me on this one. And he looked at me like I was nuts.
Yeah.
And then he said, well, let's try it. So they started setting up the board and pulled the power speakers out. I got the truck out, run power, and
Where did you pull the truck up at? Did you have to
Right to the
illegally
back
park
door.
back there?
yeah, a little bit.
Who cares? No, like Corey. Who is Corey? Let's give everybody credit that had a hand in this.
He's the general manager at Minglewood Hall,
Okay.
and just a super dude. I've known him for quite a while, and just the fact that he listened to me on that one blew my mind.
Yeah.
Well, he
'Cause
obviously
that
trusted
was a
you.
crazy
Yeah.
idea.
It
But
was
it worked.
crazy. It worked. It got the job done for that night.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the next day, Tora, being the absolute pros they are, they had another show, a free show that people could come back to, and they were able to play their entire gig as a full band.
How cool is that?
And it was great. I got to go both days, and I've been a Tora fan since high school, and it's been a long time since I saw them live.
Yeah.
So that was a great weekend.
I had
for
never
me.
seen them, so I was bummed. But it made for a great moment.
Sure.
The
Yeah.
moment was awesome.
Anthony come out and he was the star that night.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
he that takes a lot of balls to get out there and by yourself and do what he did.
Yeah, it made for a great moment.
Owned it. Man, he owned it.
He
was
owned
so
it.
great.
He's got such talent, and it certainly carried him through. It was a great night.
So, I don't know, 3 or 4 songs in, someone walks out with a big ring light,
Yep.
right? Which I have one just like it. So they put it next to him to his left, and it added some nice light to it and added a little more
That's cool.
ambiance to it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you noticed this, Jeff, but the next day when they're doing their full show, they had the ring light all the way stage left on. They turned it
No
on,
kidding.
facing into the stage.
That became a new
they
thing.
absolutely didn't need it.
I didn't even see that.
But I think that was
I think
probably
it
an
was
inside joke.
leftover.
Oh, it just never turned
It
off.
just never got moved. And nobody thought nothing of it.
Right.
But yeah, that was a funny story. So
it made for a great, memorable evening for sure.
Sure.
well, look, I think everyone by now knows your relationship with Sleep Theory. You know that's been keeping up with y'all, and it's a big deal. So let's talk about it. So, how did that all unfold? How did you connect with them, David?
So, okay. Cullen, the singer for Sleep Theory, he used to belong to a band called Oceans Divide Us. And one of the guitar players for that band, I recorded at that previous studio years ago. So the thing is I belong to a band that I started back in 2000, 2001 called Chosen View here in town, which, like I said, Nita, the stage stop, shout out to Nita. She gave us our first several opportunities and connected us with a lot of things. So our singer, Anthony Basurdo, he went on to start another band called Joan Red, and he passed way too soon back in 2011. And it's been 12 years and I'm still not all right. Like you don't get over stuff like that. And Scott, the guitar player, knew that about me. Well, the thing is it's a complete accident because Cullen didn't even know Anthony or had never really heard him, but there's a tone in Cullen's voice that is just naturally very similar to how Anthony sounded. So Scott hit me up. He says, "Hey man, you've got to come out to this gig. Just come hear us." And so I went out, listened, and that doesn't lie. Like my wife had to come and make sure I was okay. I was like a baby, just bawling in the back of this room. It was like Rock House Live or something, wherever they were playing. But this kid just sounds so much like him and his energy and so much about it. And I just immediately connected. And I was like, I don't care how or what, I've got to work with this guy. The band, truthfully, they needed work, but I was like, whatever, let's get the whole thing going. So I meet the guys outside. I introduce myself to Cullen, talk to the rest of them. I say, "How's this? First song, I charge you nothing because this is how important this was to me just from that connection." And I said, let's get together. Let's do one. Let me write with you guys, develop something around his voice because I hear something that might work. And it's a gamble, but y'all aren't going to pay for it. So if it's awesome, then yeah, let's do an EP. We'll talk money, figure that out later, but let's do one. Well, that never even had a chance to get off the ground. There were all these complications between the band and, nothing anyone did wrong. Members of the band that didn't know me didn't trust the situation. They didn't understand it. I get it.
Yeah.
But it became a scenario where Cullen was ready to just walk away from that scenario for other reasons. He felt like it had run its course for him. So we talked, got together with another buddy of mine named Jeremiah Lipscomb that plays with a band called Savage After Midnight. They used to be called Sore Eyes, and pretty big band in town. And he and I used to write and develop bands, back at the old studio. So I hit him up. I was like, "Hey, the singer, really cool, reminds me of Anthony a little bit. Why don't you come in? Let's have some fun. No band anymore. It's just me and him. So you come in, be a third set of ears. Let's write some stuff." So we did a couple songs, started building the whole thing, and me and Cullen just became really tight through this process. There's almost a 10-year difference, in age between he and I, but it's that you don't really notice it because, dude, just personality wise, like we've really just connected and become very close. And so right around the time we did the third or fourth song, it was just he and I at that point. There was really not a band still. Jeremiah got busy with his band. So there's no name, there's no guys, there's nothing happening yet. And he's beginning the conversation, when do we start releasing stuff? So I told him, I feel like the song hasn't happened yet. Like there's good stuff here that's going to support whatever the song is.
But you don't hear the hit.
Right. We're still developing the sound.
Sure.
And so then I think it was probably the fourth song that we got together to work on was Another Way, which is the song that just catapulted those dudes. And so
I listened to that song for about 20 seconds when I found it on Facebook. And I instantly said, these guys are fixing to just explode.
And they did on Pandora.
Yep.
yeah. So TikTok was the thing initially that did it. But yeah, Pandora was what catapulted it nationally. And so, I've done a lot of writing with Cullen for this whole thing, and it became something where by the time we got to that song, that one was a little more heavy-handed on my end, but the song itself was about something I dealt with, and it was very, very close to me. And so when you listen to the lyrics, you can kind of see that. And I think that's why so many people connected. But make no mistakes, like I've written songs for hundreds of people at this point, but his voice delivering it the way that he did, because he was able to connect with it that way, that's what did it. So again, at this point, fast forward to this year, the band's in place, lots of stuff's happening, and then the conversation is, okay, let's get something out. Let's do Another Way first. Let's just see what happens. So we end up realizing, as irritating as it is, TikTok is a big deal. That's how a lot of people are discovering things these days. I feel like I'm just at the cutoff of giving a crap about it. Like it's like everyone's just a little younger.
Evil.
Right, but I understand it, especially after watching what just happened. Like I can't deny that it works. But so they put a 15-second clip together. They got in the live room of the studio where all the guitars are, and they filmed this thing, and they put a 15-second clip together. They had like 20 followers on TikTok, right? They put this clip up, they go to bed, they wake up to like 12, 13,000 followers.
Why does it happen to this podcast? I put out 100 clips.
Well, I was just about to ask David if he would mind working on a song in the studio that's called Derek and Jeff and the rhythm section.
Right.
And just get that out there on Pandora, and maybe this thing will blow up too.
Well, I feel like there's something to be said for how quickly that happened, because literally by the middle of that next week, they were being contacted by people wanting to manage and represent them.
Sure.
And the guy that's now representing them, Steve Richards, he has very close connections with people at Pandora and SiriusXM and places outside of that. And so he hadn't even signed anything with them yet. He just goes, look, guys, like things move quick these days. Like because they move so quick, you gotta strike when the iron's hot. It's hot.
Yeah.
You guys figure out what you want to do. Do you have a problem with me passing this along to the people I know? Like we're not connected in any way yet, but I just believe in this. So do y'all have a problem? And the guys are like, dang, no, try it, see what happens. And so
can't hurt.
Of course he proved very quickly he was the dude. So, so that's, lots of exciting things have happened as a result of that. It's one of those things I really wish that I could say more right now. Give it like 2 or 3 months when official announcements have actually come out and I'm allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
I could say more, but there are exciting things that are happening, and it seems like every day there's bigger stuff. But here's the biggest takeaway that I want to encourage all the listeners, and then you guys, and then just something we're extremely excited about. Memphis is being looked at nationally again for the first time in a long time as far as rock and roll goes. Rock itself is coming back in a big way. I won't name names, but I will say that there are labels that have reached out to Sleep Theory as a result of all of this that have not done anything in rock in a big way in over a decade.
That's good to
so
know.
That is a sign of life that we're extremely stoked about.
Well, everybody sitting at this table certainly understands that, because we are all well aware of the amount of talent that's here.
It's just been waiting.
It's unbelievable.
It's just been waiting, and it's taken something on a national level happening the way that I feel like it's getting ready to happen. So it's a really exciting time. I can't wait to see what 24 and 25 look like. But as of right now, we just feel really blessed and fortunate to kind of be in the center of some of these things that are happening. And it's just an extremely exciting time.
That's good to hear because it doesn't feel like that, right? It
Yeah.
feels like we're just in a ocean of bland,
It's where it's
cookie
felt,
cutting digital pop.
it's where it's felt for a long time. But yeah, the thing is like even looking at TikTok or what's left of Instagram, because it's kind of people are moving away from that too. But some of the biggest things, and I know algorithm matters, but some of the biggest things that I've been seeing lately are young kids playing like legit rock and roll. And that it's like people are ready for something with a heartbeat again.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool time.
That's awesome.
That taps into YouTube because of certain bands that block. And that's why we don't play licensed music on this podcast because YouTube will block it. Or definitely demonetize.
Yeah.
But AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, Eagles, Fleetwood Mac, there's a bunch of big names that take your video down.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a bummer because there's so many kids that would want to watch a tutorial on how to play a Guns N' Roses song.
And would learn.
Jimi Hendrix is another one. But but other bands get it. They will still get demonetized. I get it. The label will pull from it. I understand that. But the ones that get it and let the kids listen to more Beatles. They might not know who Beatles are.
Right.
But if you unblocked it and let it go out there.
You're only going to grow your listening audience.
Yeah.
That's right. Completely agree with that.
Yeah.
There's my soapbox.
Yeah.
So, Matt, you recently went on the Monsters of Rock cruise.
Oh,
That's right. Yeah.
I saw tons of photos and
Thanks for wearing our shirt too, by the way.
you wore our shirt.
Had to represent.
That
was awesome.
That was so cool.
That was awesome.
I believe you might have been standing next to Frank Hannon.
Well,
when I saw
what's
you
funny
in
is
that
when we
shirt.
first started this, Jeff being the just overzealous person that he is, he's like, we got to get on the Monsters of Rock cruise. I'm like, dude, we haven't even recorded. Like, what are you talking about? But so it was a thing. We talked about it, whatever. Little did we know 6 months later that
Matt would be on the boat wearing our
we
shirt.
would have someone on the boat wearing a shirt that we didn't know was going to exist.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So it
pretty
was
rad.
really cool.
Very cool.
That was fun. I think, Frank Hannon. I got a picture with Frank Hannon wearing the shirt.
So was that your first time or is this something you've been doing a while or
The cruise?
Yeah.
That's my second one.
second one?
Yeah. First time Tora went on the cruise, I went with them.
Okay.
And that was
So
in
jealous.
2017, I think.
Yeah.
And my God, we had so much fun.
Yeah, I
There's so
bet.
many bands. It's just, there's music 24/7. It seems
Because
like.
there's multiple stages, right?
Oh, yeah. There's that
everywhere.
first one. I think there was 6 or 7 stages.
Yeah.
And it was just, you got this list every 15, 20 minutes. There's another band somewhere on the boat.
Right.
And so you got to figure out who you want to see and who okay, I can pass on this one. And
You got to plan it out.
you got to run like a madman and see it all. And it was awesome. I had a blast. And then this last one, my wife got to go with me.
That's
And
great.
and we had a lot of fun. She got to see a bunch of bands. And she told me today, she goes, you were like the Energizer Bunny. You were just go, go, go. She was wanting to rest and relax. She goes, it's supposed to be a vacation.
Yeah.
What was the top act on there? What was
Extreme and Tesla for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Betancourt?
Dude, he's incredible.
Yeah. I've heard nothing
Incredible.
but amazing things about the newest album. I haven't heard it personally. I need to get it.
You haven't heard the new single?
I've heard part of the new single. Fantastic.
Yeah,
But-
everyone's talking about his solo.
yeah, but the whole album is out now. So
Because it's been a minute since they've had an album, right? I mean, have they even been?
It's been a long time.
So has Nuno just been busy in studios? I mean, how's his career been with Extreme not doing much?
I don't know.
Oh, you're not personal friends with him, Matt?
No. built a pedal for him. That's about it.
There you go.
No, but he made a comment. We talked about it on the boat for just briefly. He said that studio, or not studio, the song, was it Rise?
yeah.
Yeah, Rise with that crazy solo.
Yeah.
Was recorded in 2019.
Uh,
And I'm like, where did that come from? I mean, that was incredible. He goes,
yeah.
Edward Van Halen told me I need to step up my game, and I did.
There you go.
Yeah, you did.
Well, Nuno, you didn't know it, but anytime Matt builds a pedal for someone, they're obligated to come on this podcast. So we look forward to talking to you too.
Just line them up. So, David, you won an award, probably more than I saw on the website, but something about a Tennessee Music Award?
Oh, yeah. Back in 2019. Yeah, no, it was extremely cool. So I got an email, and it's, again, I was still working at the dealership, but I got an email saying that, some of the stuff that I had worked on was getting attention and that I had been voted, they had a panel or whatever, and my name had come up enough, so I was in the running for it, and they sent me a link to pass along to people and, get them to go on and vote. And I'm just thinking, like, what the crap? I'm just doing stuff out of a bedroom. Like, this is really cool. So passed that around, and then I didn't think anything of it, and my son was getting ready to turn 13, and we had this nice trip, family trip planned to take him out to the Grand Canyon and Bryce Canyon and Zion National Park and spent some time in Vegas. Like, we filled up a week and a half and just had this killer time. And before I left, literally we're packing up to get on the airplane the next morning, and I got a call from a guy that was part of that whole board, and he says, "Hey, so without saying too much, can you be there?" And I'm just like, "Dude, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna be, over there in the West." And it's like, "Can you get somebody there?" And I was just like, "Are you saying it's important that I do?" He goes, "We'll just say it's a good idea to have somebody there." So John and Allison Purifoy, who are in the band Roses Unread, which you guys, if you have not checked them out, you should. They'd be an entertaining. I mean, they're a funny group of folks, but really talented, really great guys and gal. And they live in that area where it was going to be held anyways. And I think they were up for one as well. So I was just like, "Would you guys?" Absolutely. So while we're there, not to ruin this by talking about COVID, but COVID was like not.
What's that?
Yeah, exactly. No, it wasn't a thing yet here, but I'm like 99% sure I got it in October of 19 because we got on a plane with a lot of people that were flying internationally. And all I know, man, is like 3 dates into this thing, out of nowhere, I just felt completely lousy, worse than, and I don't really ever get sick like that. And so, man, like we went out to the Grand Canyon, spent the whole day, and throughout the course of that day, just felt terrible. And so we got to the hotel, got some food ordered. My wife and son are like, "Well, we've got to go back to the canyon at night and see the stars. We hear it's a thing." And I'm like, "Love y'all, go have fun. I need to like lay down on this bathroom floor." I felt like I was burning up. And so what's hilarious is like I'm sitting there feeling worse than I've felt in years. And then all of a sudden I get a FaceTime from John and Allison where they've got my award and they're like, "Hey, check this out." So I'm like,
quite
cool.
the juxtaposition.
I hope I make it back to Memphis to get that from you. And so, but no, man, that was extremely cool. And yeah, it means a lot. Like we've got it hanging up in there in the studio, and it's,
this room on the wall
somewhere. We moved about 6 guitars and amps over and cleared a spot.
Maybe move a guitar.
Well, Derek and I were friends with a guy named Mark Goodman before he passed away. And
did you guys know Mark Goodman?
He had a studio, and
man, he was great.
You'd go in his little studio to record, and you could never miss right behind his seat where he did his engineering. There was a Grammy.
He had two, and the gospel.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And that's
the gospel area.
You never know.
That's a big dream.
This sleep theory thing, man.
Oh, I would love it. Man, I want to.
Not just them. There's solo bands that are getting a lot of attention that you're fixing to hear a lot about.
That's
great. It's been crazy. Like right now, so some of the current bands that are, so there's a band called Line So Thin. They're doing kind of in the vein of what Sleep Theory's doing, like as far as more modern active rock stuff. They've been approached by a couple of labels. They've actually got the most streamed song that we've recorded there. They're about to break 4 million streams on their first song. And so like they're doing big stuff. A band called the Icarus Plan, which that's Ed Harris and Brian Link, who were formerly of On a Dead Machine, which they were pretty big years ago here. They've got some big stuff going. CJ Starnes, he's kind of more of like the folky or I don't want to say it's just kind of a folky alternative sound, but it's really, he does it well. And he was one of the top streamed artists. I think last year he did several million streams on his own. And Stopgap Solution, those are very good friends of ours. Those guys are doing some incredible stuff.
It's one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, they're
Can you
good.
Ask all of them to come here on the podcast?
All 100%.
Well, they have Sleep Theory guys coming, right?
I don't know who is booked with Sleep Theory. I went to their Facebook page and PM'd that, and I got a response saying they would come.
Okay,
I don't know if that was Cullen or if that was nobody.
I'll get you guys connected directly.
Get me connected to the right person.
Were you talking to a bot?
It could have been.
I hope not, because if that's the case, I have a bot booked on the podcast.
Where are they?
Yeah.
What's going on?
No, I'll exchange some numbers with you guys when we get down here. Yeah, and cool. I actually spoke with Cullen last night that I was going to do this, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm supposed to do." And I was like, "Yeah, let's Go talk to the dudes. Let's get it going.
Excellent.
But yeah, there's lots of artists that are doing some really cool things, big things, and we're like I said, it feels like there's a pulse of something coming back to life here. And
Good.
and,
That's nice to hear.
yeah, and there's people that are getting involved from afar. People that were here that made it big and have gone elsewhere that are starting to kind of turn around and look back here again and noticing what's happening, that are getting involved, and it's really cool. Like Zach is still here, and he's done incredible things with Shinedown, and it's really cool. He was at one of the last Sleep Theory shows, and I mean, this is something we could talk about because it's announced already. But at the end of next month, Shinedown's taking Sleep Theory out for the whole back of the month, and they're going to go tour. And,
you can't ask for much more than that as a young up and coming band.
No.
Are you going to be a roadie, Matt? You going to be on there?
Oh, we will be happily here while they go out there and do that.
Yeah, I hear you.
No, that's
great.
That's a young man's
And you got to
game
give a
out
little
there,
shout out to Zach, man. That dude has really flew the flag from Memphis.
That's right.
And he's been so good to us, man.
Yep.
I mean, he just anytime I've ever needed something from him, he's always stepped up and helped. So,
well, that's
big
great.
shout out to Zach.
For those
Myers.
that don't know, Zach Myers is
Shinedown guitarist.
Shinedown guitarist.
Yeah.
Yep. That's awesome.
And we're hoping to get him in here for an interview in the near
Because you
future.
have reached out, right?
Matt reached out to him for
Talked
me
to him.
Nice.
and talked to him, and he
weeks
said
ago.
he'd be glad to do it. He's just on the road right now.
Yep.
And he said he would do a Zoom, and I'm like, no, I think that guy, I want him to come in the studio. We'll wait till he gets off the road and do that one in person.
We're hopefully going to get Ricky Medlock in this fall.
Ricky be good.
Yeah.
we got a chance to interview him for 3 minutes at the Mississippi Music Awards,
Which was cool, dude. He's got some good stories.
Yeah,
Sure.
in the 3 minutes we talked, he was super nice, and then he stole a hat. He's just like, "Thanks, guys," and walks off with a hat. I chased him down.
No.
So, dude, that's $20, man.
No,
you can gladly take the
Ricky
hat.
could have had as many hats as he wanted.
Speaking of cool, bigger things that are going on, can we talk about this EMN record a little bit?
Sure.
What's going on?
Dude, I've been an EMN fan since the very beginning.
You're working on an EMN.
Extremely.
If they're okay with you talking about it,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
quite all right.
I won't, divulge anything that shouldn't be talked about yet, but I just will say that anybody that enjoyed what we put together on that Resurrect the Faithful album.
You did that album?
Yeah. So
Awesome.
I think that was one of
The first thing we ever did.
Well, it was the first full length for sure that we did at the studio. Absolutely. And all I can say is the writing between this group, because I mean, a lot of the core band has been there for a minute now, but Bone was like brand new when we did that first album. Since that time, the writing I can just tell you from a producer and a fan standpoint, like there's something, not to be corny, but Crazy Good is one of the songs, but there's something crazy good going on with what they've got. Like the sound is, it's man, I don't know. It's like the pretty stuff got prettier, the heavy stuff got heavier, and like there's this eclectic thing that's happening. And of course, you put Rick over anything, and it's gonna be Rick. It's gonna be EMN. Rick is like, but he's even, I'm noticing in his writing over what's happening here. There's just, man, I'm really excited for everybody to hear this stuff.
It's been the same 5 now since that Resurrect album.
Yes.
Right? So there must be just gelling and more and more.
Yeah.
And then the other 4 were together for quite a while before Bone joined.
Yeah, so Troy was there forever with Rick. And
that's the bass player, right?
The Viking.
I think
I was going to say the coolest looking, terrifying bass player.
But
I've
like
ever seen.
the nicest freaking dude you ever meet. But dude, like from a distance, you're like, I'm scared that dude's going to beat me up.
He does look
like,
badass though.
But no,
he plays that Explorer bass.
Oh yeah,
it's
and just looks badass when he does it. But
he does.
But yeah, Troy's been there for a good minute, and I know that Gunner came along. How long has he been there?
And whenever Jeff left,
Yeah,
they come in. It's been a long time.
It's been a minute, and I know Johnny was within recent years, but he's still been there for a while now. And
Alan's the newest.
He is, but now there's this thing. So we got invited to go out. It was like October of last year when we went and listened to those first few songs. For this. Yeah, so we went out there and just hung out with them when they were practicing one night. And dude, he and I the whole time, like I'm literally texting him while we're sitting on the couch. And I'm like, we have to record this freaking song, dude. Like, and then they play another one. It's like, stuff. We got to do this song. And so, normally what we do is we record singles because that's kind of for independent artists. It
that's
makes
where
the most
everything's
sense.
gone.
Just one at a time.
But
keeps everybody relevant.
Their situation's a little different. It's a different scenario because they are signed and they want to have a record. So we've kind of gotten creative in a way over the calendar year to separate everything out because they are writing everything and have everything kind of gelled together before it gets in there, we're able to get away with certain things. And so it does look like we're still on track by the end of this calendar year. Like we'll have the new record buttoned up and ready to master. And
Awesome.
good. Man, dude, it's just, but the thing that's crazy is I thought I knew what the record looked like months ago, but they keep writing new stuff. And I'm just like, guys, I don't know. We might need to move some stuff
You
around.
have to
and
cut some songs.
Yeah, but that's a good problem to have. Those dudes, they're just on fire right
Well,
now.
hell,
man.
if you cut some songs, you got material for the next record.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
We'll get them all in here.
And Bruce Key, gotta mention stuff that's happening with him. So I've actually I've shared Bruce's current material with a few people in Nashville and people that I trust their opinions.
And we heard it. We got a sneak peek when we were visiting.
Just a few seconds of it while we were in there.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yeah, man. He's already getting some attention. We're just we've got some work to do, packaging his brand and getting that ready to get out there. But I have a lot of hope for him.
Is this his first real push as an original artist?
As an original artist, absolutely. And we're actually getting together in the next week or so, and he's going to be recording again in 2 weeks. So we're trying to narrow down what the next song is going to be. But yeah, the last several that we've done together, he's got this new sound he's taking hard rock with a modern edge and then taking this country sense. I mean, y'all have heard some of it. And it's it's just really cool. And you look at artists nationally like Hardy and Austin Snell and guys like that are changing Octane on Sirius XM is playing country artists now because they're rocking so freaking hard. And I think Bruce has got a spot right in the middle of all that. We got to get all that put together. But yeah, we're developing a lot of artists right now that I believe have a big career ahead. Like the Icarus playing guys that I was talking about a second ago, they've been reached out to by several labels, some even in the UK. It's they haven't made any decisions yet, but it's really exciting, man. So there's just keep your eyes out, man. There's a lot coming up.
Look, we love supporting original artists here. And earlier I was talking about YouTube, but we still share music. We'll publish someone's original on our platforms as its own clips. I don't care if it gets demonetized. It's just its own thing. Not the whole episode will get demonetized. So I'll say to you guys, all the others, when new artist, you're dropping a new album or a new single on someone and you need some support and push it out there, just let us know, man.
Absolutely.
We would love to push it out there for you and for the artist. And our reach is growing every day. So it might help in its own.
Well, give me a good email. So what we'll just start doing is once masters come back, you know what I mean, and everything's greenlit by everybody involved, I'll just start sending you guys stuff directly, and then y'all can do whatever you guys want.
What we do is I'll grab let's see, the most recent one, my buddy's Mudflap King, Chip Edelman, Chip Doty. My buddy Chip Edelman now is an artist called Chip Knox, whatever. So we pushed out a song, and what I do for these guys is I'll just go on their Facebook page and find their logos and then them on stage, and it's just in essence a moving collage, moving pictures over the music, because you got to make it a video.
Sure.
And that's it. Super simple. And then we can even coordinate. We're having a business meeting here on there. If they wanted certain pictures, whatever.
You can let Zach Myers know we're happy to help him in any way.
Yeah,
we can.
He could use it. They could really use the push. So I'm still just waiting for that one last little push.
Yeah, they need a little help.
Well, this has been super fun, y'all. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Matt and David. Love to come see the studio again someday.
Sure.
Anytime you guys want.
Next time I go in, I'm going to count the guitars just one by one.
You'll lose count, but
do you have time to play them all? You just take it.
That's what I got him for.
Well, again, check it out. SupernovaSoundMemphis.com. If you're interested in learning more, you can call them at 901-351-3693. Again, Matt Montgomery, David Cowell, thanks so much for doing this.
Absolutely, guys.
Jeff, Facebook.
And for doing so much other stuff that you've done for us and for everybody.
Yes.
And you guys, you're awesome. So yes, Facebook, YouTube, for the video, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, all those great streaming platforms where you can catch our audio. And
if you want to throw $1 in that tip jar, click the Patreon link for more information. Plus, we have retail spot for our merch.
Hell yeah.
How cool is that?
That is cool.
131 West Commerce Street in Boba Cream, right down here in Hernando. Walk in, look to your left, and you'll see our shirts, hats, coffee mugs, tumblers. And then Matt gifted us with more rhythm section swag, which is so awesome and so cool. But and again, thank you for the pedal. Jeff, on behalf of Jeff, thanks for the sticks and all the stuff we're doing. You did for us. We really appreciate that.
Glad to do it for you.
And that's it, y'all. So I hope you enjoyed the interview. Y'all take care. Have a good night.
Thanks.